Childhood adversity is a story we think we know, right? So if I told this audience that things like abuse, violence, addiction, even divorce, experienced during childhood can lead to emotional or psychological issues later in life, no one in this room would be surprised. In fact, some might even say, we know this because we've lived it. But what if I told you that adverse childhood experiences like these, in high doses, can have the same impact on your health as eating 33 strips of bacon a day? What if I told you that this type of trauma left unaddressed can make someone more than twice as likely to develop asthma, autoimmune disease, heart disease, and even cancer, and cut our life expectancy short by decades? For a long time, like everybody else, I had only part of the story. In 2005, when I finished my pediatrics residency at Stanford, I wanted to take my training to a place where I felt like I could make a difference, someplace where I felt like I was really needed. And so I came to work for a hospital in San Francisco, and together we opened a clinic in the neighborhood of Bayview Hunters Point, one of San Francisco's poorest and most underserved neighborhoods. And a funny thing happens when you open a clinic in a neighborhood like Bayview Hunters Point. So step one is that you have to establish trust with the trust and relationships with the community. So when folks saw me in the third church service in a row on a Sunday afternoon, and when they literally saw me go door to door in the public housing projects in Hunters Point, I guess they begun to believe that I was the real deal, and they entrusted me with their greatest treasure, and that was the health of their children. So when we opened our doors, immediately what began to happen was that over and over and over again, patients were being referred to me. And the most common complaint was ADHD, right? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. But a funny thing happened, right? In medical school, what we learn is when you're training to be a physician, you learn how to do a history and a physical. And as I was listening to my patients in the history part of the exam, what I was hearing over and over again was that my patients were being exposed to severe and significant adversities. And that I noticed an odd pattern that these behavioral problems were occurring in the kids, occurring most often in the kids whose parents had drug addictions or mental illness, or who were witnessing domestic violence happening at home. But it wasn't just their behavior. I will never forget 10-year-old Kayla, and that is a pseudonym. When I asked her mom about her asthma triggers, right? Like, what could it be that was activating her asthma? I had put her on 2 rounds of very powerful medications to try to keep her out of the hospital. What this mom said to me was, "You know, doctora, I noticed that my daughter's asthma tends to act up every time her dad punches a hole in the wall." And so for me, I threw myself into the research about how early adversity affects the developing brains and bodies of children, because I was noticing a pattern, but I hadn't yet connected the dots.